This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFLTV in association with MTK Global. Before I say another word, right? So me, Joe and Ethan have been sitting here for 12 minutes watching Gib try to connect audio on a Zoom.
It's quite, there's a lot of pressure, you know, when there's 3 people watching and the audio is not working. I'm seeing everyone putting their hands in their heads in their hands. There's quite a lot of pressure. There's quite a lot of pressure.
You've had a stinker, mate.
I did have a stinker, I'm sorry. But we're here. Hello.
We got here. How is everyone? First of all, how you been keeping? I'll start with you, Ethan.
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Chugging it along, trying to adapt. Fitness has taken a hit, but we move. Just climbed Everest up my staircase the other day.
That video was mental. I was like, surely. How did you think of that idea?
Joe, mate, I don't know. My brain just does these things. I sit there and I'm like, I wonder if I could go up and like a mountain on my staircase, like the height of it. So I started looking at mountains and I thought, yeah, Everest is achievable. I thought I was going to do it in 2 days. First of all, mate.
How many floors was it?
It was my building's 20 floors, but I had to go up it 141 times.
Shit.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Shit.
Do you know what was funny about that? Was I saw it. I think it was Lad Bible, Sport Bible. And they put, this lad has, and I was like,
this random lad, mate.
Like Ethan, oh, it is Ethan, yeah.
This lad.
Joe, how you been keeping?
Yeah, mate, decent. I think overall I've just tried to get outside, fresh air as much as possible. Obviously, I'm living alone, so it's quite lonely. But yeah, mate, just trying to keep busy, being productive. Good. Yeah, it's good.
And are you still 7-figure gibber?
I'm trying to be, man. I'm trying to be. Yeah, for me, quarantine's been, it was quite stale to begin with, but now I'm getting back with my habits, going on runs, training, make sure I'm getting my boxing work. And I'm back into YouTube as well, which I'm happy with. And we are continuing the train, as you say.
Obviously, listen, off the back of Miami at the back end of January, we were kind of expecting events to happen around the summer. That obviously has been put on hold because boxing has been put on hold. But it seems to be in the last 2 or 3 weeks, things are starting to be spoken about again. Obviously, Joe, you did your podcast recently with KSI. Gib, you released the video recently as well. I don't know specifically, obviously, Deji, you're calling out, but everyone, whoever you want, redemption, etc. So is YouTube boxing back on the forefront at some point this year?
Well, with KSI and Jake, that's going to happen for next year from what it seems in their videos. I've been trying to call people out, but I don't know if people are going to be committed to it.
Genuinely, I feel like KSI versus Jake Paul is the last one.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like it is. But Gibbo, how do you see it? Like genuinely, because I know you want this, you want another fight. But you know these trends, they come and it gets to a point where it may reach a peak and sort of be done with. So what do you reckon?
So I got to look at it from like my own story. Yeah. So I've just had this loss. Okay, cool. What do I do? Do I sit and do I have the loss there, or do I go back into it? See a lot of YouTubers after the fight acting like they want to be, they want to train, and they think that they can do what needs to be done. So I'm trying to just test their words, see if they're going to do it. There's one person I regret even giving attention, which was Wasabi.
Yeah.
There's no point. There's no point in buying. But the thing is, he's so lippy still. I told him that. There's no point. Like, he reckons 50 pounds difference means nothing.
Oh, no. Yeah, but this is the thing. There's people that get involved in things when they don't necessarily even have a lack of knowledge of it. So it's pointless even listening to what they actually say.
Deji, on the other hand, if he wants to make a fight, I think that could happen.
Yeah.
That could
definitely could happen.
Yeah, that could happen. Yeah, it could happen as like an event or something like that, like outside of its own. But in terms of other fighters, who's there? Who is there?
There isn't. That's the one thing with YouTube boxing, and that's why there's there's a beginning, middle, and an end. Like there is an end for it. It will stop because there's very few people that will actually have a professional fight or even a white collar fight, whatever. Like there's only very few people that do it.
Yeah.
Joe, let me just pick up on the point you just made there. Are you, with your comments there, are you suggesting that this YouTube boxing has run its course now and the Jake Paul KSI fight literally should just be the end of it?
Well, I mean, look, you never know. Purely because, say, they have a fight that is unbelievable and for whatever reason, rematch or something or other. But I feel like, you know, if we do get a definitive end to that fight, overall, I think viewers are not, you know, they're not going to be begging for loads of more fights. I think, say, if Deji and Gib were to fight, I think that would be sick. I'd want to see that.
It's huge in the UK, that fight.
Yeah,
That's a massive UK fight.
I don't think Eddie Hearn's going to buy that fight, but he's not going to. I don't think he'll go. Yeah, that's, you know, we've gone KSI Logan, the Jake Paul Gib one. That was like, I think that's.
Then again,
I think I'm scrapping people regardless in the next couple of years. I think, like, honestly, look, and this is the truth of the matter. If you find out two YouTubers are scrapping, everyone's watching it. Every community.
Would you do it without the bag? Like, as in, if it's not supported by any
yes.
Was just like, yeah. And I think that's decent, mate.
I flew to America. I spent a lot of money for the camp. Yeah, the peas is not what matters to me. It's the victory. Even though I didn't get it, fuck it, it happened. But you move. I'm here for the people that are making their videos, talking. I'm ready to show them.
Nice. Ethan, what do you think about that? What Joe's saying specifically there about it could have run its course and that could be the kind of the finale to it?
I think the big finale is Jake and JJ having a fight eventually. But one, I don't see the way that the fights are lined up. I don't see this happening for at least a year, right? Like I can't see Jake and JJ having a fight within the next 1 year, even from this conversation. I don't see it happening. So will there even be interest by that point? Who knows? But like we were just saying with the Gib Deji fight, if that does come to fruition, as Gib said, if you find out two YouTubers are fighting, you're going to watch it, right?
Yeah.
And on some of the Sky shows, wherever it may live, however, you know, like the before encryption fights, mate, I'd happily tune in to a Gib Deji 6-rounder before encryption. 100%. Of course I would. So that's a little bit of entertainment in there. And plus it'll be a decent scrap. So I'm more than happy for that. But I think that's more UK based. Globally,
the number one question. Will Deji do it?
No, I don't think he will.
Will Deji do it?
Oh, I don't think he will.
Wait, has he said anything since your video to you?
He says the time will tell. I've been looking at the clock and nothing's telling me shit.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing. I can't really ever work out Deji, if I'm honest, because
no, I don't think anyone
can.
One
1 minute he says stuff, then he airs it and he won't like back it up. And does he actually want it? Does he not? Does he want an easy fight? Does he just want that taste of victory? Because the only decent fight that he's going to get, I reckon, is with Gib, and that's a fight that us UK lot would love to see.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a weird one. But Deji, if you're watching this right now, like, come on, mate, say something.
Gib, let me just turn this to you a second. How have you kind of come to terms with the last 3 months and that night in Miami within yourself?
Well, obviously, it's not a nice thing to go through. Yeah, it happened. Yeah, I let it digest. It's digested now, and I'm ready. I started training properly again. I'm back on the grind. You need a little break after something like that, but that's normal. That is normal.
Did you at all? Because obviously I know how I felt. Did you feel it knocked your overall confidence? You know, your energy at all? Did it sort of like? Because obviously we haven't seen you on social media a lot. And obviously some people will be thinking, oh, is that where he's sort of, you know, he's been hit hard, maybe he's hurting. Like, did it hit deeply like that?
When you train hard for something and then you expect to a certain goal, and then if you lose, Of course it's going to sting. It's stunk. But it's happened now. You got to figure out, right, now what am I going to do now? Yeah, there's a lot of people that you can just sit with them. And I doubt that I'm a person that lets it just sit on. So I'm now ready to move forward and achieve something else.
If you were to fight again, Gib, what will be your trainer situation?
What would be my trainer situation? That's a fantastic question there, Cougs. Well, I'm still trained. I'll still train with Leon. Obviously, Vidal said he's retired as a boxing manager and he's continuing his own career. But I know a few other boxing trainers. I trained with one before I went off to Vegas, which was Vidal's dad. That could be an option. I'm not saying it is, but it could be. I'll just have to see what trainers would be interested.
Right, this is a question for all of you, but I'll start with Ethan. Is KSI versus Jake Paul a more competitive fight than KSI versus Logan Paul?
I will say yes. I think Jake is naturally... It's just like... You can tell Jake's got a little bit more natural talent there compared to Logan, if you know what I mean. Jake looked comfortable. Jake moves he looks a lot more comfortable in there. Logan sort of gets in there and he's so big that he sort of freezes up a bit, especially when he was scared of JJ's right hand. I think it's a more competitive fight.
Joe?
Yeah, without a doubt. The thing with Jake and JJ is they both have this killer instinct where they can turn up, do what they said they were going to do, and stay composed. And I think that's the difference. Like Logan, he feels it too much up here, and I think that's why he's, on the two occasions that he's fought, he's not delivered as well as we all thought he would. Whereas I think Jake and JJ have proven now what they can do, proven that they can deliver. And I think Jake, he is decent. He is decent. He can punch. He can work out an opponent and deal with them. And on top of that, JJ, whatever he does, seems to absolutely put it out of the bag every time. So that will be so competitive, and I think it's going to be a great one.
Gib?
JJ has proven himself in his last fight, coming against a lot bigger opponent, which was Logan. So far, Jake has beaten me and Deji. I think the size of opponent that Jake is coming up against now is a lot bigger than what he's had in the past, especially in sparring and when it came to the fights. He's got a lot bigger opponent now. I think it'll be close.
After KSI's fight with Logan Paul, it was very unsure whether KSI would even fight again, and to a certain degree, it still is. We don't 100% know that this fight will happen, but how motivated do you think KSI is to having this fight with Jake Paul? We saw him ringside for your fight, and he was obviously being goaded by Jake Paul after your fight, and that seemed to be a little bit of a turning point in his thought process about having this fight. But how motivated do you think JJ is to actually get back in the ring again? Joe, I'll start with you.
So I think, judging from when I've spoken to him and seeing him on other interviews, the passion is there when he speaks about fighting Jake. He wants it. He's not saying, yeah, I'll do it. He's like, I want to end this. I want to beat him. So, I believe him when he says that. And I think he wants it. He does want it. So yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that the fight will go ahead if virus permitted.
Ethan?
I think you got to remember, both of these people, right? They earn lots of money already, right? So again, you've got a question, right? They don't need to be in a ring risking getting beaten the fuck out of. So in a year's time, if there's even any interest or whatever, the money's still got to be right for them to do that, because they've both got different ventures. Like JJ's got his music that's done really well recently. I think the passion's there. When JJ picks something up, he won't put it down until he's done very well at it. And I feel like if he does just disappear from this or not fight again, he'll feel I don't know. He's got, like Joe said, and he doesn't like Jake at all. He really doesn't like him. Like there's a lot more genuine hate there for Jake than there was for Logan.
Yeah.
So that's where I think the difference is, and that's why you see JJ get so amped when he's speaking about it. So if in a year's time there's any sort of interest still, I think it will go ahead because JJ doesn't like him.
Gib?
Well, this was Jake's goal from my fight. It was always what he wanted. I think he wants it. He needs it. It's been driving him since the fight with me. JJ's now got an opponent in front of him who's beaten his brother, beaten one of his friends. And he better fucking smash him. He better smash him. Smash him. That's what I want to see. That's exactly what I want to see. I want to see him get dusted quick. But that's just me. That's just me, though. That's what I want to see.
Before we kind of move on from this Jake Paul and KSI fight, have we got concrete predictions how the fight would go and pan out from all of you? Ethan?
I think, like we've all seen now, for the fight against Joe, for the fight against Logan first time, and then the one in LA, JJ's got the ability to just walk into a room no matter the pressure and deal with what's at hand. And I just think you get the same story again. I think it'll be a bit more competitive, but guy's a freak. Guy knows how to fight. There's not many people that would have got back up from that uppercut and punch in the back of the head. He could have had 5 minutes in that fight. He came straight back out after 2. Like, guy figures his way through a task at hand. And I just think that's what happens again.
Joe?
Yeah, straight up. I think, look, JJ has proven now. You can doubt him all you want. Even when, okay, look, so going against me and Logan, he was against opponents that probably were a little bit already sort of defeated in their own mind. Like their mentality wasn't as good as what Jake has demonstrated. You know, Logan froze, I froze. And, you know, JJ kept his shit together. Now, getting in there with someone that is able to compose themselves like Jake, that's going to be the interesting thing, because then if you've got 2 guys that can do that, skill and ability will come into it. And obviously, when you look at both guys, you go, Jake is the better boxer. But is he, you know, when these 2 styles come together, I mean, we don't know how JJ will box for sure, but the more wild approach, will Jake be able to deal with that? You know, when it becomes a fight and a war, that's where, like, JJ, you're not stopping him, mate. Like, you're just not. So, yeah, man, I'm getting gassed up.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, throughout the whole of this YouTube boxing thing, everyone's made their predictions and they said Logan's the better boxer, or like Jake's the better boxer. But listen, like, hand skill and being slick at it is one thing, but there's a difference between a boxer and a fighter. Like, a fighter, you get taken to deep waters, is how you deal with it. And there's just a difference. Like, in Gibb's fight, didn't really test Jake, but you could see when Gibb did put the pressure on, Jake sort of did scuttle back a bit for the short time we had to watch. So when you have someone like JJ who can punch as well, Logan was scared of the right hand. There's proof in that of him running around the ring. Yeah. He doesn't want to be hit by it. So as soon as you've got 2 people that are gonna definitely be in there at a high level, it's about who's got the fight, who's got the actual fighter mentality to do it.
Gib, what's your thoughts on who wins that fight? Or need we not ask?
Shit, the boys said a lot right there. I don't know if I can top them.
Right.
I think it'll be a good fight. It's something that's been long awaited. Who's going to win? Well, Tunji has to avenge it. He has to avenge it. He has to. There's no other mission but to avenge it. You can't let him win.
Obviously, Gib, you've sparred. Well, you sparred JJ loads.
Years ago.
Yeah. Years ago. I think me and you are the only 2 blokes that have been in the ring with JJ and Jake Paul, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's quite interesting.
And Deji.
Oh, I haven't been in there with Deji, but what I was going to ask was, like, comparing them both from experience, being in there with them, like, how do you genuinely feel when you go up against them? Like, do you
fight
feel
the spar is different? A fight, no head guards, towns, gloves, sparring.
Yeah, but it's in like you can have a sort of like you can gauge. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. From when I sparred JJ, he fought nothing like how he spars.
Yeah, this is the thing. Like when
I've seen him spar countless Donnies, and when it came to fighting Logan the first time, he like round 2 or 3 was when he started doing the wild thing, right? Yeah, that's when he just started going crazy. So I had to go for him. So he spars differently to how he fights.
Well, that's the thing. Like I'm saying, like in his fights, he does seem to resort to that wild approach.
I haven't seen the overhand from him. I haven't caught the overhand. I haven't seen it, so I can't judge the overhand.
You know what I think?
But like what I'm saying is that, like, okay, what if he does? You know, it gets to that and he goes wild. The thing that when I would obviously sparred Jake, I found he was so fucking composed. Every time I'd move to throw anything, I've got 2. He's already hit me with 2, and I'm like, that wild approach. That is tailor-made for someone who's a calculated sort of.
I think when you look at the opponents, Logan's like 6 foot something. He's built like a shit house. He's huge. Like you look at them next to each other and you thought, well, by the rules on the book, Logan should win this fight, right?
That's what all the boxers said, right? At the event.
This is what I mean. Logan had all the natural advantages. So I think those 2 fights that we've seen forced it out of him. When you look at his first fight against you, Joel, his hands were low, but he was active with that jab. He kept his range. Like he was a lot smarter in that fight. Like he just kept you thinking, because even if his jab was hitting here or his chest or whatever, he was a lot more active with it in that first fight. It just so happened that his hands were low. Whereas as we moved up to this opponent this big, he's resorted to just trying to lunge in and hit him. I think where you've got Jake and JJ, when they're at their fight weight, they're pretty much identically matched. So I think you'll see a lot more of what JJ does in his spars than what he does on the 2 fights against Logan.
Joe, let me ask you. Obviously, that podcast you did with JJ recently. Why did you think that was important for you to kind of air your views, him to air his views, kind of after all that time?
Yeah, no, mate, I found that very powerful, actually. I think where we both came with an attitude of let's just talk about everything, let's address it. As like grown-ups, obviously, you know, the last time that we properly talked was during our fighting time, which was 3 years ago. You know, to come on now and have that chat, get it all out there, and understand, you know, some things that maybe he didn't agree with what I did, and likewise iron those out, learn from each other, and then we gave each other advice and stuff. He gave me a lot of advice. I just think it was a good almost symbol for, even if you do have beef with someone and you are enemies, that you can deal with it properly. And that's what I found so powerful about it.
Gib, let me ask you, if you're to never have a fight again, would you be kind of, content in your life if you would never return to the ring? Or do you feel like you have to get back in the rings?
Oh, I have to get back in the ring. And it doesn't matter if it's in a bed. It doesn't matter. I'll do it anyway. I'll make it get a gym and I'll sort it. It doesn't have to be in a bed. I saw it on my own exhibition. I uploaded it to YouTube.
Well, do what me and Malfoy did for the first fight.
Yeah, that was going to happen. Of course it's going to happen.
But at the same time, so do you feel like if you don't have another fight, is that almost going to be like a mental thing that's just it's just there? If you don't,
no, I want to do it as well. Like, I don't know. Like, if you upload a stinker onto YouTube, what you want to upload a banger next? It's like that.
A little bit different. It's a little bit different.
I want a banger. That's what I want. That's all I want.
Ethan, let me ask you, do you think that Gibbs should fight again?
I do think Gibbs should fight again. I do. Because I know what Gibbs like. And he can't go the rest of his time on this planet. He won't be able to do it. So he has to fight again. He has to. I know his mentality.
Weller, when you had your loss, what were you thinking?
I remember first thing I thought was like, thank fuck that's over. Because I realised that I like doing boxing, but I was just like, yeah, this ain't truly for me. And I think I came to like peace with that. I was like, okay, I've done this experience. It was sick. Even if I won, I was like, I ain't going to do this again. So yeah, and it fucking hurt. Like it fucking hurt. Obviously, went MIA, went to Bali, got a slick tattoo. Yeah, mate, I fucked it a little bit. Obviously, I had all this attention, i.e., you know, I was banging views, banging everything. But I at that point, I was like, I don't give a fuck. I literally don't care about the publicity or whatever. I just want to find what's truly going to make me happy. But yeah, mate, like I've since then, obviously, I have moments where I'm like, yeah, I want to fight. Yeah, I want to do it. You know, I'll go to one of the YouTube boxing events and I'm like, yeah. But, you know, for me, I go, okay, I'm feeling like this now. Am I going to be feeling like this in a month's time, 2 months' time? If I am, then I need to actually consider it. But thus far, I have moments where I think about it. But I think overall, I'm at peace with it now. I love boxing. I love watching it. I love commentating it. But I don't think win, lose, draw, doing another one would really do anything for me.
Do you know what, Joe? I'm going to just sort of carry on from what you're saying there. Obviously, since last November at the Logan Paul KSI fight, and then obviously in Miami, I know you're doing a million interviews, and people obviously want to know whether you're going to step back into the ring again, etc., etc. And I think at moments you've probably maybe have given a quote where you're thinking at the time it's possibly, but I've never really thought this guy definitely wants to come back and will definitely have a fight.
Mate, you can tell. Look at Gibbo, right? How he's passionate about it. You need the passion, bro. If you ain't got a passion, there's no point. That's what Hearn says, isn't it? It's true. Like, if you have not got that passion, you're not going to truly want to do it. And that's why when people ask me, oh, yeah, do you want to, are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? Obviously, I get gassed up and heated in the moment of like, do you know what? But when it comes down to it, look, I don't like to fight and hurt people and all that shit. That's not in my blood and in my nature. And I accept that. But that doesn't mean, I absolutely do love boxing. I love watching it. So, yeah.
Ethan, is this nothing you've ever considered during this kind of year or so?
No, not really, mate. I feel like I was originally meant to fight on the card in Manchester against a guy called Nick Crompton.
Yes.
That's sort of the world was robbed of that fight. If we're being quite honest,
They were.
The world was robbed of that. I put in a shift for that. I trained for about I think it was like 4, 5, 6. I don't know how many months, but by the time the fight was getting closer, the contract was all done and stuff on my side. But he bailed, and that's sort of what catapulted my weight loss journey. And I feel like I've found, again, like Joe making peace with something, like I use that as like a motivator to get me to where I am. And now I've found what makes me happy, mate. And that's just pushing out a good message, helping other people that are in shit scenarios. And besides, I've loved watching boxing since I was so young. I love it. That's why I love being involved with it. And I like talking about it. And I like seeing my friends involved with it because it's seeing my friends take on this task that you have to respect so much and really giving it a good go that makes it so enjoyable. And on Gibbs' side as well, he was the first guy to train with Vidal and them lot. He's been doing it from fucking yonkies ago. That's how you can tell there's a passion there. Is he was doing this before this was a thing. He was in there training hard as well. Hard.
How do you, again, a question for all of you, how do you think that YouTube boxing has been perceived within the boxing world on an overall scale? Because we do see a bit of negativity, etc. And we kind of see people with the attitude, it is what it is. And then you see people that don't really care it's going on, if, you know, if whatever's happening is happening. But how have you seen that within the boxing industry from an outside perspective? Joe?
So most people, like, we have this thing that we hear of like, oh, people are frowning on it because it's like a disgrace to the sport. But like most people you speak to, they go, look, if you've trained hard, if you're putting in the graft, fucking fair play, you're stepping in the ring, mate. Do you know what I mean? So I think mostly been respected as like fuck YouTubers, guys that aren't even professional boxers realistically, being able to turn this into a massive spectacle that's on pay-per-view. Like most people are impressed by it, and obviously, yeah, I think overall it's been received well. So yeah.
Ethan?
I think hindsight's 2020. Like, I feel like in the moment, people are very quick to jump on bandwagons of this is a disgrace, this is whatever. But when you whittle it down, right, these guys have been in fight camps, putting in the work that people in this respective sport do. They've really, really given it 100%, because there's not many other people, the people that reply to the tweets or whether it is online, the chances that they've ever stepped through the ring or will is minimal. So there's a lot of talk coming out of people that wouldn't necessarily do it themselves. And that you can't really pay attention to. But I think when you look back on it, I heard even Eddie say this the other day. Like, he looks back on LA very fondly, because that fight was the most entertaining one of the night, realistically. Like, it was absolutely mental. And I think that's what you get out of this, because there's a bit more skin in it than a person off the street going in there. So there's like the entertainment value in it. Like, it's just these guys going out there for a fucking scrap. And I think that is the fun element to it. Yeah, I think it's all right.
Gib?
As long as you're following what needs to be done, like you're doing your runs, your shadow boxing, your sparring, your training, there has to be respected. Because if you're just coming off the sofa and going into the scrap, boom, it's a disgrace then. But if you're putting in the time, the work, and you're just thrown into the deep end, you got to think everyone that's been doing it, maximum 3 fights. Yeah. They've had a couple amateurs, then boom, pro fight. It's unheard of. It's unheard of. Main events. So it has, in that aspect, it has to be respected. But in terms of ability, there's probably lots of amateurs out there. There's probably a lot of pros that are way, way better. That's not what it is. People got to look at what it is. 2 YouTubers having a scrap.
Yeah. And also, wait, sorry, just to add to that, I actually think the entertainment value that these two, like Logan and KSI is the one I focus on, but where you see how they and their personalities and their egos built this fight. So I remember Adam Smith saying, he was like, I didn't know much about these boys, but the way they've, come together and built the fight through their amazing personalities is unreal. And I think that is what, like, pro fighters, I'm not saying put on an act and do all that shit, but as in maybe taking a page out of the book of these YouTube lads of how to sell a fight, how to make it entertaining, how to get people to invest and give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think that is what, almost the boxing world may have even learned from the YouTube stuff.
Well, listen, boxing ultimately as well, especially to Sky Sports, DAZN, etc., it's all a numbers game. And obviously the reach that you guys have on social media is not to be obviously understated. But, people ask me and say to me, like, what was like kind of the biggest events of 2020? And like, for IFL, the biggest event, and considering Joshua lost to Ruiz, which was huge in June. Joshua then beat Ruiz. Whatever else events were going on, but KSI Logan Paul's numbers were like on a different level compared to any fight we've ever done. It's the biggest fight week IFL in 10 years has ever done was KSI and Logan Paul. And I'll be honest with you, the numbers that we got from Miami weren't bad either. Like, they were like, for a Miami card, I know that wouldn't have got those numbers had Gib and Jake Paul not fought on that. So I know it's like you're talking about numbers here, people go, oh, fucking numbers and blah, blah, but YouTube numbers are no different from ratings and what does DAZN look for, etc., etc. So if you just take it for what it is, the only thing I've seen is, like, some boxers have said about, is this taking opportunity away from fighters that have grafted all their life? But I don't think it is. I genuinely don't. I think it's like a niche market, but a big niche market. Do you know what I mean? That kind of does it that way. So
I think as well, you can harness it. You can harness it to sort of even help up and coming fighters, because like we saw on the JJ Logan show, there was a few like young matchroom boys, I'm sure, on the card, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just, again, it's, if anything, it's just giving them an avenue to perform on as well. It's not always got to be just like, this is YouTube and that's it. Just take it for what it is, face value. It's two guys that have dedicated themselves to the sport and they want to go in there and prove something to themselves or whoever it is that's said anything about them. Just take it for what it is and enjoy it.
Just kind of finishing up on that, I think as well, what people have said as well, if the YouTubers are going to fight, put them on a card of YouTubers as opposed to mixing them with world title fights. I don't know what you guys think of that.
Yeah, I mean, that would be the sickest thing, like, as the YouTube audience. My fight with KSI, that was sick because it was a whole YouTube event. And it just feels more like it's ours. It's our thing that we're all truly invested in. Whereas when it's like, say like Jake versus Gib, where it was an undercard of like a main thing, it's a bit more disconnected from the whole YouTube audience as much. And I think, yeah, it would be good to see that happen again. However, I don't think you'll get the likes of Hearn going for something like that, because I think he would feel a little bit too much like that's not fully respecting boxing, giving actual boxers opportunities and all of that as a professional sort of like sports company. So yeah.
Okay, well listen, appreciate your time today. We've done about 45 odd minutes. Just kind of closing words. Anything you want to say? Anyone you want to call out, Gib?
Deji on Tunji, please respond to me.
It is strange that it's been quiet because
it's not going to happen.
And because he self-proclaimed like a week before, I'm the best YouTube boxer, and then someone actually called him out, and you haven't heard anything. So it's just an interesting situation.
We'll see.
Maybe it'll happen. You know what would be good? You know that thing that Hearn is doing in his back garden?
Yeah.
Matchroom HQ.
Mate, take Gib.
Wait, has that got like beans? Is it actually going to go ahead? Do you think?
That's going to go ahead.
Fucking yes.
Hey,
that's definitely going ahead.
Yes.
I'm saying mate, definitely go ahead.
Fucking Eddie Hearn, of course he's going ahead, mate.
Yeah. If the situation is it as it is now, and it kind of we continue to kind of flatten the curve and everything stays down, then there's no reason why that isn't going ahead.
Well, imagine like AJ versus like Tyson Fury in like the back garden.
I don't think that's quite going to happen.
Mate, shall I tell you what? This Dillian White versus Francis Ngannou, mate, invested. I want to see it.
Oh,
yeah.
Mate, I'm invested. I'm invested, mate. I want it to happen.
Don't know.
Dillian White versus Ngannou.
Yes, mate.
Yeah.
You're lying.
No, Gib, I'm not, mate.
It's a semi thing at the moment.
What? I know.
Yeah,
Dillian
White. Yeah.
It's going to be amazing, mate.
Shit, that's going to be big.
You need to get back on social media, Gib.
Yeah.
Wait, I want to see the strongmen fight. When's that happening?
Oh, yeah.
Thor and...
Yes.
Eric.
Eddie Hall. I saw Eddie Hall. You uploaded it.
I don't know who Eric is, but Eddie Hall and Thor. Sorry.
Yeah, Eddie Hall has got into good shape recently. I've been watching his videos.
Yeah, same.
And I wonder how many rounds they're going to do.
I don't know. I would have thought surely 6 minimum.
It's going to be a maximum. I think a maximum of 6.
A little bit. Yeah, because you got to give a little bit of. If it's a whole 3-round fight, people will be like, "What?
Well, they got to do 6 rounds."
Well, I know they probably won't be able to, but I reckon. I mean, they're not going to go. Oh no, I can't do 6. They'll take on.
Yeah.
I think that in order to give like value for, almost like value for money and time.
Nah, there's 4 rounders. Are there 4-round fights? There's 4-round fights.
A big main event that's a 4-rounder. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? And as well, like, surely if they have learnt to box and connect and throw a punch, they could legitimately kill each other. And I think that's always the really dodgy thing about it. But who's going to win, I don't know. Thor has got a massive height and reach advantage, but Eddie Hall's a bloke that is mad and will commit. And buzzing for that as well.
All right. Well, listen, I'll let you all three crack on with the rest of your night. I appreciate you coming on and having a chat today. So, yeah, just anything finally you guys want to say, Ethan?
Nothing, mate. I hope everyone watching has a lovely evening.
Yeah, everyone stay safe. Don't go too mental. Enjoy.
Gib, final word with you.
Au revoir. Bye-bye.
This will be going out Monday night, the 1st of June. So if you could retweet it on Twitter, it would be helpful, guys. So,
No problems. You.
Ethan, Joe, Ali, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. Keep yourself safe and we'll speak soon.
In a bit, mate.